Peterson here, and this is Dr. Prescott, the Doctor of Love and Kindness. And today we learned that, thank you to Michelle Marichek, that today is Love Your Pet Day. And so what another opportunity to celebrate the great work of my pup, Dr. Prescott, who I love so much. Together we create Team Uniquely Savvy, and he is a pet therapy dog in the community. And last week my husband and I flew home to Seattle for just a quick, short trip. And I want to share with you this story. When Doc and I were on a walk back in December, we came across this woman who was unsheltered, and we didn't want to disturb her. She was sleeping, and so we just kept on going, but we crossed her path quite a bit. And so we started looking for her, and we couldn't find her. We wanted to bring her some warm clothes because in December in Seattle, it was really, really cold. We kept looking with my husband, we kept looking, and we could not find her. And then one night, about a month later, Doc was itching to go on a walk, and I really didn't want to go, but sometimes he wins those battles. So we went on a walk, and I said, okay, we're trying to race against the daylight, and we're at a stoplight, almost home. It's our final stretch. And he started inching over to this woman who was sitting on the sidewalk. And wouldn't you know, it was her. And I was like, oh my gosh, we found you. We found you. And we talked probably a good 15 minutes. And she just loved Doc, and Doc loved her. And it was such a special time because, you know, even today thinking about it, I think that Doc probably had her scent on his, in his memory, and could tell that that was the woman, and that's why he walked up to her. So we had a great conversation. We talked about how it was by no coincidence. I told her we had been looking for a good month, and she said it was God and the miracles, and that it was just such a blessing. And she allowed me to take a picture and with Doc, look at how happy Doc is, and to share her story. And she said, yeah, she said, and yes, it is God. God is looking out for me. And yes, absolutely, you can share. I learned that she needed some clothes, and she needed some slippers and such like that. And I said, well, I knew where she was going to be staying now, at a shelter. And I said, I will go through my closet and I will see you in a couple days. Wouldn't you know that I went to my neighbor's the following day, and we just happened to be talking randomly. And just as she was shutting the door, she told me how she just cleaned out her closet. And I said, no way. She had slippers, she had coats and sweaters that she was just gonna take to the Goodwill, so she gave them to me. And I thought, that is no coincidence. I too went through my closet, and I went up to the shelter, and she wasn't there. We had baked her, my father-in-law's girlfriend had baked cookies, and so we were going to share some of those cookies with her, but she wasn't there. And clearly they couldn't tell me if she was coming back or if I would find her later. Anyway, Doc and I continued to look for her. Now at this point, it was getting towards the end of the year, and then New Year's, and then all during January, we couldn't find her. And then my husband and I came to Arizona to work remotely for a couple of weeks. Last week, we flew home, and she was on my mind again. And I got in my car, I was running some errands, went to the doctor, and had a few extra minutes, and I was gonna go shopping. I go, ooh, I'm right here at Nordstrom Rack, I'm gonna go shopping. And I had a style client coming up, and something told me, no, go to the store and get some treats, and give yourself some margin for your next appointment. So I went, and when I did that, I noticed that I still had this scarf in my car that I wanted to give her. And so I thought of her just as I shut that. And I was racing into the store, and this woman says, I like your outfit. And I threw my trash in the garbage can, and I turned around really quickly. And I was like, Sherry, is that you? Is your name Sherry? And she said, yes. And I said, no way, I was just thinking about you. And by the way, I had come to visit you and you weren't there. And here you are. We had been looking for you and I have only been in town less than 12 hours. And here you are. I was so excited. I want to tell you that it was the most beautiful time. Now, my time was running out, but we visited for about 25 minutes outside of this store. And what I want to say is it was beautiful and she inspired me yet again. She had this big rainbow umbrella that stuck outside of her cart, and she was telling me how this store manager allows for her to be there, and in exchange, she will clean up the trash in the parking lot. And she said, Kim, do you know what? Last night when I was cleaning up the parking lot, I found a $100 bill. I found a $100 bill. And do you know what? I was so excited. I went into Safeway and she had all of these things filled in her cart. And what she had in her cart, I was so attuned, and I noticed it when I walked up. The bright umbrella, she said, I love the colors in the umbrella. She said at the shelter, they had thrown away all of her art supplies, and she found that at the store, these supplies were inexpensive. So she bought crayons and she bought a stuffed animal. And I just want to show you because she let me take another picture. It was so beautiful at the end. I said, I am so happy to run into you. And I am so inspired by this story. You see, here is the bunny rabbit that she bought for herself. She bought what you can't see is the crayons and the art supplies in her cart. She bought so many seeds to plant flowers and carrots and whatnot. And at the shelter, they have a garden. And she said these were $35 worth of seeds, but I am so excited. And she went through them and she laid all the seeds down one by one. And she said, these are my favorite flowers, forget-me-nots. And I saw the joy. Can you see? The joy in her face as she shared the story of her bunny and the arts and finding the $100. And then at the very end, I said, okay, you know, and I've got to go, but I'll know, I'll keep looking for you and I'll be back because I was headed out of state again. And then she pulled out this, which is a piece of her art. And she said, this is part of what I can do for people on their windows, you know, for car dealerships or for churches. And this is her art. Look at her talent. Look at that. There's a sun up here. This looks like a big cross. And so while this woman is unsheltered, she is passionate. She has things that make her heart sing. She's talented. She found $100, and what she spent her $100 on was art supplies and things that would grow and blossom into life. And it's beautiful. So much of what I'm excited about. She said, yes, by the way, I remember your dog. You know, yes, I remember you, and I remember Dr. Prescott. And so again, let's bring it back to my dog. He is a bridge builder in our community. He is an ambassador of love. He is the doctor of love and kindness wherever he goes. And he causes us to pause and he causes us to see everybody. And oftentimes those people are invisible. Oftentimes those people are voiceless. And yet he brings us together for beautiful, life-giving conversations. But what I want to say about this woman is she is a beautiful example of being who you were uniquely created to be. Life will throw you obstacles, and she has obstacles. And she had some health challenges, in which case she said I could share. And she was healed from pancreatic cancer, but then she had diabetes. And the reason why I couldn't find her is because she was in the hospital. She teaches us that no matter what life throws your way, you can still be grateful. You can still find joy. You can still bring value to the world. You can still inspire and encourage others. That's what she taught me. So in what ways can you step more into your authentic self and be who you are uniquely created to be in the world, no matter the obstacles that are there? How can you inspire others through sharing your voice, your story, your time, your talent? What would you do if you found $100 in the parking lot of a store? What would you buy if you were unsheltered as she was? I want you to know that in addition to her colors and her color crayons and her art pieces and her bunny, she bought some frozen meals and she bought the Starbucks coffee drinks, the frappuccinos or whatever they are, because she loves them. She said, I love Starbucks, these drinks. You know, I didn't see any alcohol in that cart. I didn't see anything frivolous, you know, and yet what we want to do is we want to look at people and we want to place judgment on them and we want to create our own version of what their story is. And I want to challenge us today on Love Your Pet Day to look beyond that, to challenge the stories that we tell ourselves and challenge the stories that we put on other people, and choose to see and dig and mine the truth of who people are. Dr. Prescott, the Doctor of Love and Kindness, has been in our family now for just over 3 years, and he has been the biggest joy and the biggest blessing. And I'm so honored to be his little puppy mama. So Dr. Prescott, happy Pet Day, and thank you, Michelle Marichek, for giving me a reason to share this story. Bye for now.